ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। In this session, we'll be discussing from the 35th and the 36th verses of the 12th chapter of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Ahuto Bhagavan Ragnya Yajayitva Dvijayan Nripam Uvasa Katichin Masan Suhrudam Priyakamyaya. The meaning of this verse is, Lord Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, being invited to the sacrifices by Maharaj Yudhishthira, saw to it that they were performed by qualified twice-born Brahmanas. After that, for the pleasure of the relatives, the Lord remained a few months. So Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport, Lord Sri Krishna was invited by Maharaj Yudhishthira to look into the supervision of the performances of yajna, and the Lord, to abide by the orders of his elderly cousin, caused the performance of yajnas by learned twice-born Brahmanas. Further, Srila Prabhupada says, simply taking birth in the family of a Brahmana does not make one qualified to perform yajnas. One must be twice born by proper training and initiation from the bona fide acharya. Here is a very important point. It is not enough to merely take birth in a certain family. It is very important to acquire the qualification by proper training and initiation from the proper acharya. The once born kinds of Brahmana families are equal with the once born Shudras. So, the first birth is by the parents, and in this regard, whether one takes birth in a Brahman family or a Shudra family, it does not matter. Both by birth are not qualified, and such unqualified Brahmanas are actually equated with Shudras. This may sound very harsh, but this is the reality. And Srila Prabhupada says further, such Brahma Bandhus or unqualified once-born scions must be rejected for any purpose of religious or Vedic function. Somebody is not qualified. Such a person cannot be engaged for performing some yajna or some religious ritual. It's not possible. Lord Sri Krishna was entrusted to look after this arrangement, and perfect as he is, he caused the yajnas to be performed by the bona fide twice-born Brahmanas for successful execution. So Yudhishthira Maharaj took help of Krishna, and Krishna ensured that Yudhishthira Maharaj's sacrifices were actually properly performed under the guidance of qualified Brahmanas. The next verse, the 36th verse, Tato Rajñabhya Anujñataha Krishnaya, Tato Rajñabhyanujñataha Krishnaya sahabandhubihi Yayau Dwaravatim Brahman Sarjuno Yadubhir Vritaha. The meaning of this 36th verse is, O Shaunaka, thereafter the Lord, having bade farewell to King Yudhishthira, Draupadi and other relatives, started for the city of Dwaraka, accompanied by Arjuna and other members of the Yadu dynasty. So we have to understand the importance of engaging qualified brahmanas to perform a Vedic sacrifice. So elsewhere, Srila Prabhupada explains, to perform a sacrifice successfully, at least 4 expert priests are required. Who are the 4 expert priests who should be present for successfully executing a sacrifice? One who can offer is called Hota. One who can chant Udgata. One who can kindle the sacrificial fire without the aid of separate fire, Advaryu. And one who can supervise, Brahma. So, Hota, Udgata, Advaryu, Brahma. 4 kinds of priests are required for performing a Vedic sacrifice. Such sacrifices were conducted from the birth of Brahma, the first living creature, and were carried on till the reign of Maharaj Yudhishthira. But such expert Brahmana priests are very rare in this age of corruption and quarrel, and therefore, in the present age, only the yajna of chanting the holy name of the Lord is recommended. The scriptures enjoin Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Namaiva Kevalam, Kalau Nastyeva, Nastyeva, Nastyeva Gatiranyatha. So in Kali Yuga, only the Sankirtan Yajna is recommended. And to chant the Hare Krishna mantra does not require previous qualification. Another place, Prabhupada says that once Krishna had gone with some cowherd boys, Krishna and Balaram had gone with some cowherd boys early morning, taking the calves for grazing. And the boys, after some time, became very, very hungry. So they told Krishna, please arrange for some food stuff. Krishna then told the boys that nearby this place, wherever they were, there are some brahmanas who are performing a Vedic sacrifice. So Krishna told the boys, go to those brahmanas and ask for some charity, some dana. Then those cowherd boys went to those brahmanas and approached them with folded hands and fell down to the ground to offer them respect. So what did the cowherd boys say? They addressed the brahmanas and they said, O earthly gods, kindly hear us who are ordered by Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram. We hope you know them both very well, and we wish you all good fortune. Krishna and Balaram are tending cows nearby, and we have accompanied them. We have come to ask for some food from you. You are all brahmanas and knowers of religious principles. And if you think that you should give us charity, then give us some food. and we shall all eat along with Krishna and Balaram. The boys continue to speak to those Brahmanas. You are the most respectable Brahmanas within the human society, and you are expected to know all the principles of religious procedure. So this is what the boys said to those Brahmanas. Now, Srila Prabhupada explains, although the boys were village boys and were not expected to be learned in the Vedic principles of religion, they hinted that because of their association with Krishna and Balaram, they knew all those principles. If you associate with Krishna or his pure devotee, then automatically you are able to get enlightenment simply by performing devotional service in understanding all the religious principles, especially those which are meant to enlighten us without separate endeavor at studying or doing some other practice. Simply by association with the right people, you become enlightened, you become enlivened. Now these boys, cowherd boys, because they were associating with Krishna and Balaram, they expressed the point of view that when the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna and Balaram, were asking for food, the Brahmana should immediately deliver some without hesitation. And they should actually perform yajna only for the satisfaction of Vishnu. Now, the boys continued to speak to the Brahmanas. They said, Lord Vishnu, as Krishna and Balaram, is standing waiting, and you should immediately deliver whatever food you have in your stock. So, the Vedic culture is no food is refrigerated, but the food may be kept, fresh food may be kept to actually feed some guests or feed some extra people like that. Now, these cowherd boys, they also explained to those Brahmanas that when food is to be accepted and when food is not supposed to be accepted. The Vaishnavas generally don't perform ordinary sacrificial ceremonies, but still the devotees know very well about all the ceremonial rituals in connection with offering to Krishna. So they began to speak to the Brahmanas that we can take your food at the present stage of your ceremony. For now, it will not be prohibited. So you can deliver us the food, we'll take it to Krishna and Balaram. Although the companions of Krishna and Balaram were so very simple in their habits, still they were in a position to dictate to high-class Brahmanas engaged in Vedic rituals of sacrifice. That is because of their association with these with Krishna and Balaram. Simply because of association with Krishna and Balaram, they were able to dictate even to the high class Brahmanas. But the Brahmanas, being very, very fruity minded, they ignored this request of these cowherd boys, and the boys went back disappointed. So the Brahmanas lost that opportunity for rendering pure devotional service to Krishna. And therefore, we should be careful in understanding that Krishna accepts either directly from the devotee or through the medium of another devotee, provided it is offered with devotion. But these cowherd boys, they were misunderstood, and the Brahmanas who were performing sacrifice missed the central point and ignored these boys' request. So I'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.